Super
Yeah,
Hits
please, ma'am,
Radio.
we are keeping him till 10 a.m. Just
Oh
so
no,
you know. I think that was a yes. I felt a mental yes coming
I
from
can
him.
I can do 30.
Okay. But anyway, we are very, very glad that you
Yes.
could come. In the first place, how is business? How are things going?
Well, I mean, for me, business has really been the same since I started. As in terms of theater, theater is not profitable for me yet because a lot of investment is going into what we are doing. We're trying to build epics, Broadway-like standards, so it takes a lot of investment, and hopefully we get more sponsors and more audience. But in terms of poetry, I think that when I was thinking about it, when I was told I would be on this show. And I realized that my most sustainable income stream has been poetry since I started doing it over the past 10 years, because I really don't do anything that brings in a lot of money. So I realized that actually in terms of my most sustainable income stream, it has been poetry. But currently it's theater that is taking over a lot of the investment.
So you make money every month by being a poet?
Yes, I would say so, because I do a lot of performances for corporate institutions and people commission me for projects. I mean, there are sometimes you can go several months without doing a performance. There are sometimes you can do like several performances within a month. So I would say that currently, if I aggregate it, I would say that my most sustainable income now is through my poetry performances.
Are you sometimes forced to rely on other forms of income outside the creative arts, like maybe sell clothes or sell food?
No, unfortunately. Even though I've tried to do a few entrepreneurial stuff, but a lot of it is still stuck up in my head. I mean, we have an art academy that we set up some 2 years ago that we are still trying to get up. And but I haven't done any other business out of the creative arts since I started. Now,
Wow.
I mean, of course, I tell people that I've been literally broke because I don't have savings. I've never had savings. Also because of the nature of the investment that I do in my theater production. So everything that goes, so I'm consistently in debt. But I know that once it begins to pay off, it will be phenomenal because of the nature of what we're doing and the potential of what we're doing. So I get a lot of parents who talk to me that my child wants to be this, my child wants to be this. I'm not sure. But look at it. In every profession, there are people who are making money, there are people who are just okay, and there are people who are not making money. You find that across in every profession. And so be it in the creative arts. There are people who are making very good money, whether on the performance aspect of it or whether on the technical aspect of it. There are people who are just about okay, and there are people who are also struggling. So the reality is that depending on whatever area in life you decide to venture in, there are always those stratifications.
Chief, it's a very interesting point that you just raised.
Yeah.
But let me, out of pure curiosity, what's your annual income like?
On an average, if I would aggregate what I make a month, I would say 3,000 cedis.
So your annual income will be about 36,000.
Yes. If I look at the commissions I get and the performances I do. But as I said, this doesn't come consistent. So sometimes within a month, I can do like 3-4 performances. Sometimes I can go 3 months without a performance, and that's when things
That's
are
what I
really
wanted
tough.
to look at the end of
Annual,
the year.
yes. So yeah,
that we have
just
a
peg it
clear-
around 30.
Around 30,000
Yes,
to
yes,
be
yes,
okay. So
yes.
if we are going to say, let's be fair, make it 33,000. Okay,
Sure.
I'm looking at these, and Chief Moment is with us in the studio because you are, and I'm not trying to talk you up, but you are one of Ghana's celebrated playwrights. When it comes to
Young, but
young, but of course we have playwrights of a certain
Of
strata.
course.
Yeah, of your Amatedus
Yes.
and what have you. But those who are coming up now, you're one of the household names that we know.
Yes.
You're one of the people that arguably younger people should be looking up to,
Absolutely.
which I believe they are now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at these statistics about the theatre industry of the UK. It may be an unfair comparison,
It's
but the truth is
mind-blowing.
that in 2016, 19 million theatre tickets were sold.
Mm-hmm.
The box office revenues for London theatres, not box office cinema,
Over a
box
billion.
office theatres were roughly £645 million in 2016.
Yeah.
So that is the size of the market. If you come at it from any point, that's theatre. If you come at it from any point, you're able to attract 5 million, 3 million.
Yeah.
That's your profits going on here. If you are making 33,000,
But not out of theater, out of poetry.
out of
That's
poetry.
me, Chief Moment, doing a solo poetry performance.
Wow.
Yes.
So even with theatre, we
Yes.
can even say that it's a smaller number.
No, I'm not even. So that's why I started by
It's
premising
zero.
that it's zero. It's
It's zero.
negative. But it is negative for a purpose because of the nature. I do productions with cast and crew of 150.
Okay.
If I'm doing a major production, I need about 200,000 Ghana cedis to stage a major production, right? So my productions are a little bit different because they are epics, and what I do is like what you might find on a Broadway, like with different musicals and acting and poetry all together. So that is why, understandably, for the past 4 years since I've been a playwright, I haven't yet made made money because of the investment that is going in. First, because we don't have enough sponsorship to cover overheads, and second, because we don't have enough audience to bring in ticket sales.
But this interesting point of sponsorship.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're doing box office in London, or you're doing theatre in London, is it sponsorship you need, or you just need to get a bank loan like anybody can get any money at all, and then knowing that you'll get the ticket sales?
In developed theatre markets, productions run for longer.
For years.
Here, Uncle Ebo White, who do his productions, he does 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks, and that is it. And theatre doesn't make money within that short period of time because the initial investment is very high. You are investing in rehearsals, you are investing in costumes and props. So ideally, you should be able to run a play for 3 months, for 6 months. There are plays which have been running on Broadway for years, The Lion King, for decades. And for me, that's what I'm aiming at. So Owagbejeke, for example, right now, Owagbejeke has morphed into one production about the history of Ghana. We've been running it for 4 years. Consistently. We've done over 30 shows, individual shows, in terms of the staging of the play. So that's how theatre should run. Theatre should run for a long time across different jurisdictions. So you can even license your play out. So there are producers who produce play in the United States and they go on tour around the world, right? They do so in UK and it goes on tour around the world. So theatre longevity is very important, but also because the theatre industry is entrenched. So going to the theatre is something that people do as part of the culture of these developed societies. So you are guaranteed a particular consistency in audience. But now we are trying to create the appetite for theatre. I mean, Uncle Boy took the lead, and theatre is now gaining the conversation. People like Latif are doing well. Nash has come in. Abubakar. Now he's now getting the audience, right? So you realize that you have to build the audience, and you have to build the appetite of your people for these alternative art forms, for theatre, for spoken word. You know, not just the music and dance that we're so much used to.
Even for traditional art forms that we are very used to in Ghana, we can ask them the same questions of how lucrative are they. But anyway, let's go on the phone lines and speak with someone that you have been referring to, Uncle Ebo White. He will be joining us in a moment on the Super Morning Show for us to get that perspective from him. As you heard, Chief refers to him as one of the people who paved the way and started up this mass theatre production, at least in recent times, if you can call it that, because theatre has been with us.
Yeah, I mean, School of Performing Arts has been doing wonderful stuff in Legon for decades.
Of course. Chief, and we are asking all of these personal questions because we want to use you as a typology and look at try and paint a picture of what the creative arts industry is doing like in Ghana. Who do you look up to when you wake up and you are doing Owagbejeke or you're funding something? What is that picture you look at and you say, I want to be like that and bring it here to Ghana?
Disney. Disney, when he started, he was just a crazy man with great ideas, right? He said, I want to build this, I want to build animation at a time that nobody knew animation, at a time that people didn't give him that dog chance to succeed. He walked into a bank with a great idea. The bank took the risk, funded him, and he's created a franchise that is probably the biggest entertainment franchise. And I feel it's possible. I feel that people look forward to fantasy. Some years ago, Tigo brought this circus group from, I think, France. They played in Ghana. They played for several weeks and they got the audience. And so my basic principle is that if you build something that is spectacular enough, if you invest enough in the publicity and the promotion, you can attract the audience. So you realize that a couple of months ago, earlier this year, I put something on Facebook about wanting to do a $2 million production on the world's richest man, Mansa Musa, and people didn't get the idea, or a lot of people, some people didn't, but some did. So for me, that's the level that I'm aiming to, that you can create something spectacular enough, because people are looking for escape. And in our societies where the conditions are tough, I believe that if you build something that can generate enough excitement, especially for people like us who are curious, I feel you can instill that kind of culture. And for me, I just feel it's a matter of time.
Do you agree with this argument? Yeah. And I'll come to this point about Disney, because Disney in the first place, they didn't do theater. Disney did animation. And then he went on to build this Wonderland.
Yes, of course.
Of course. But do you agree with this assertion that we are starved of quality in Ghana, and that's why the creative arts is not getting the patronage that it deserves?
An average play on Broadway will cost you $2 to $3 million. A big play like what they do, let's say a Owagbejeke level play in Broadway, will cost you not between $20 to $30 million. So it all boils down to the investment, right? Because we are starved of investment, and investment from all angles, whether it is personal finance, whether it is loan finance. one of the basic principles that we have to first start by establishing is that we don't live in a society where we have patrons. If you go to Europe and America, there are people who invest in art, in science, in innovation, and research. People feel that this is what I want to do with my life. I want to invest in cancer research. Look at what Bill Gates is doing more for malaria and cancer in Africa than even our own rich people. So we need to change our society where people redefine the essence of wealth. In our part of the world, when we think of wealth, it's about the number of cars and houses you have. You go into someone's house and the person has 15 cars. Hey, Papa, they go, what many cars? So that is our conception of wealth. Accumulation and not impact. So until we change a society where resources begin to chase ideas, a lot of the innovations that you see in our society will just fizzle out and die because we are starved of that oxygen. So yes, the problem is of quality boils down fundamentally to resource.
So if you agree that people are not getting quality art in Ghana?
Well, it is relative.
Locally produced art.
It's relative. There will always be the outliers, right? There will always be the exceptions. But we want quality to be the norm. So if you want quality art in Ghana, you would find it, right? Whether it is visual art, performance art, there are a lot of young underground artists. I'm afraid to say that even Alliance Francaise might have done more for the underground arts industry in Ghana than probably even our own government. Because most of these young musicians and artists and performers who get a break get it first on the Alliance Francaise stage. And even most of our internationally renowned artists, the Ibrahim Mohammed and the Seja Tukwe Klotes, are because of their international acclaim, right? So it's relative. You definitely find good art if you are looking for it, but of course there's also a lot of compromised work out there because the resources are not there enough. The amount Black Panther was produced with about how much? $200 million or so, and has made over $1 billion in box office. Here our creativity is stifled because when I sit down to imagine a theater production, I want to imagine the effect, the grandiosity. I'm thinking, hey, can I afford this?
But Chief, what's the return on investment? I was going to ask that question because Black Panther had a huge investment of $200 million.
Of course.
For every dollar they invested, they got $4 back.
First of all, they have the systems, right? So they have a developed entertainment and art system. But the thing about investment is that you're not only investing in the product, you are investing in the advertisement. So when I put my point out there about this is the $2 million I need to do a theater production, that was a question that people asked, would you be able to make your money back? And I'm like, absolutely. Because first of all, you're investing in a good product, a product that would give you word of mouth effect, top of mind awareness. People come and see it and they are blown out of their mind and they sell it for you. But also you are investing in publicity. If you go to Europe or Hollywood, the amount of money they produce, they invest in producing a movie is almost about the same amount they invest in promoting the movie. Here we don't even have enough to produce the movie, let alone, or the piece of art, let alone invest in the promotion. So I believe that if people will be daring enough to say, okay, look, Uncle Boy, you've been doing this, I want to take you to the next level. Latif, I want to take you to the next level. Chief Mu, I want to take you to the next level. I want to invest $1 million in your theater production. Come out with a plan. I believe that if people are willing, bold enough, and now I'm not even talking about government, because I realize that for civilizations to triumph, it's actually individuals in nations and empires who have invested in ideas and resources. If the rich in our society would recalibrate the understanding of investment, it should be criminal for a rich man in Ghana to be investing in pure water business. Everybody's looking for risk-free business. So you've made all your money in life and you go and do the same old things that people are already doing. We need to be able to invest in new ventures and open up our economy, and that is the reason why we are not solving our unemployment problems, because we're all looking at the same old sectors. Until we expand our society, until we invest in animation, in theater, in movie production, all of these areas would actually open up the economy and employ more people and attract a lot of wealth.
18 minutes at the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show in Joy 99.7 FM. Chief, I have another question for you, but I would ask it and go on a break and come back. Are we being lazy as entrepreneurs in the creative arts space? I'm not talking about just giving the money to the space, but also in terms of finding lucrative models to make the money back. I was very encouraged when I read Uncle Ebo's story, talking about how when he partnered with a telco, that telco was better off by selling their tickets, by helping him sell his tickets through their mobile payment platform. And that telco was better. Are we being lazy as creatives? Are we not looking critically enough at the ways that people can make money? You sit and you speak eloquently about top of the mind awareness and about how people can it's advertising revenue. Is it that we are not selling it well enough? That's why we are not getting this sponsorship?
There's also
I know
capacity.
you want to speak, but I'll allow you to speak when we come back from this. Stay with us. This is the Super Morning Show.
It's a new day. I want you to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together. Forward together. Cowbank, forward together.
Radio. Joy 99.7.
It's time to own a hotel-inspired apartment near Accra Mall and switch on your urban life with a cool price starting from 350,000 rand.
Joy 99.7.
Choose our market-leading studio, 1, 2, or a 3-bedroom apartment from Oasis Park Condominium at Tetekwashi and enjoy urban peace of life. For this info, call Emily on 0204 343 011 or Kojo on 0204 343 008. This is another Tetek
Joy 99.7.
CPL Developers, built for life.
Honey, I'm off and I just grabbed the Delaire. Make sure you grab some for the kids too. With new Delaire fruit yogurt, you need more and more. Delaire fruit yogurt, deliciously creamy and thick. It comes in fruit cocktail, strawberry, vanilla, and natural flavors. Adults like Delaire yogurt. Kids love Delaire fruit yogurt. Contact Soticam Ghana Limited, located at Manette Junction off the Spintex Road. Call 0554 018 894. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
At Oka, 15 is the magic number because Oka is 15. From now to 10th November 2018, they're giving you up to 15% off on everything you buy at Oka. That's up to 15% on sofas, beds, coffee tables, chairs, kitchenware, dinner sets, mugs, toys, decorations. Ooh.
Well, what are you waiting for? Get to Oka now and start shopping. Locate Oka Decor at Spintex Road, Accra, and visit our website and Facebook pages for more information.
Let's make memories together. Think home, think Oka. LPG is a safe source of energy only when used right. Do not neglect any safety tips when using LPG. Smell and check for gas leakage before using your stove. When you smell gas, ventilate the room. Do not turn electrical switches on or off. This could spark a fire. Extinguish all naked flame and immediately call a qualified technician to service your stove. Use soapy water to check for gas leakage. When bubbles appear, you have a leak. Check your hose regularly for cracks and change hose at least once in 2 years. Always light your match before you turn on your gas cooker. Always keep your regulator off when not in use. A message from the National Petroleum Authority.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you video call your wife.
Hello, darling.
Yeah, hello.
Kojo, is everything alright?
Everything is alright. I'm not seeing Toku. How do I change a baby's diaper, please?
Kojo. Okay, first, put the diaper.
The video call freezes. While you wait for the internet to catch up, the baby sprouts a fountain and wets the diaper. As you are getting a new one, your wife comes back online.
Kojo, no.
But I had to go and get a new diaper. What must I do next? I beg, quick.
Open the front of the diaper. It's the side that has...
Wow, look. The video freezes again. Abba.
By now, you know where the conversation is going. There's no buffering in real life, so why accept it from your internet connection? Get connected and experience ultra-fast internet to your home, powered by MTN Fiber Broadband. From the Internet Masters.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Batman has worked for over 30 years, making sure your safety is guaranteed by choosing the best suppliers. We only stock quality and original electrical products from our official importers, Ingilec and Legrand. So for your cables, light bulbs, breakers, and all electrical products, rely on us, and we will never let you down. Batimat, everything for construction from foundation to finishing.
Super Hits Radio. Joy 99.7.
Joy 99.7 FM.
1, 2.
Yeah, me on this beat, it go cost you some
damage. Super Radio, Joy 99.7.
Can we just love one another with happiness, profit and flourishing? Send me what it in quality publishing. Industry future, me looking promising. When colleagues they enjoying
Super Radio, Joy 99.7.
If being poor be like me, then Father, I beg you just bless me with poverty. I don't want to snitch on my nigga, but I've got the bragging and chill. But honestly, your whole back account is
Radio, Joy 99.7.
I've got to hear you be fool, but I'm trying to leave a blueprint. I'm from Tema. What the fuck did you think? Me pekasa, but I'm touching on a few things. Jai, illumination, I catch a cube link.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
No brand no be strong enough. If you be strong, keep quiet. You go soon come out. I stay mute. 1 year, full support.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
Joy, just let me know when the thing ready. Alright, yeah.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Yes, Gringo.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
We never see no bad man where we a carver. Guess you got that defeat, I make him harbor. If a girl say picture, me not say nana. Everybody know we run this down.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
And slow chatter movement in a Ghana. Girl them a wine when them get the number one banger. I like them a tell, can't get gaga. Me never stealing, I mean them on a dark.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
If me want to really date a girl, me I got date Cardi B. Wow, yeah, so sleek.
Radio, Joy 99.7.
Remember, every soldier know I feel living in the bush. I really rasta can show you the right kush. If you say oh no one dance, I gon' go check out me.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
I mean, I wanna talking about bad mind fear, come we see them walking. Even I me who I got talk about dance I know, yeah. Even
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. I am Daniel Dazi here and my good friend Chief Moment. We're asking a simple question: does the creative arts industry pay? Is it lucrative? Is it rewarding? We'll be joined on the line by Juliet Asante. Juliet Asante is a filmmaker herself. Behind the brain behind the Black Star International Film Festival. And we'll be talking to her a bit more about this subject as well. But if you're an SME Young CEO and entrepreneur, let me tell you about the second Ghana SME and Young CEO Summit and Expo, a unique one-day world-class forum for knowledge gains on the business scale-ups, corporate best practices, and expanding your network of top-level business contracts, to be held on the 26th of November 2018 at Kempinski Hotel, Accra. The theme is Corporate Leadership Governance, Strong Pillar for Business and Economic Growth. The keynote speakers, panelists, experts, and government officials will enlighten you through corporate presentations, panel discussions, plenaries, SME Expo, expert insights, CEO Connect, and many more. For registration, sponsorship, and corporate exhibition, visit GhanaSMECEOSummit.com or call 054-639-1790. Let's go on the phone line straight away and speak to Juliet Asante. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. You would have to fill me in a little bit on what you said just before I came on.
Oh, I said you were a great filmmaker.
Oh, okay.
Good morning. Good morning again. Okay, so this morning we are talking about what would make the creative arts lucrative, what will make that industry rewarding to all of the practitioners. Mm-hmm. Before we go to that question specifically, what is the current state? Where are we with the business of showbiz, the biz in showbiz?
Well, that's an interesting question, and at some point this morning I
Joy 99.7.
The conversation before you called me, and I think it was Chief Moomin, or if I'm correct.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Chief.
And I think that he
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Kind of right on the head of the nail. In the first place, we have to look into creating an ecosystem.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
Talking about is interesting as an entrepreneur. No matter what you put in, you need supporting structures around you to move you forward.
Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7.
This year, we penned an open letter to the president. And in that letter, if you can find that letter, we spoke about some of the things that needed to be done concurrently. Because, for instance, let me give you a typical example. If, for instance, we want to sell Ghana as a co-production venue, for instance, which is something that we are really advocating for. When co-productions come into this country, there are several segments to it. For instance, they may want tax rebate to be able to come into this country. When they come into this country, will they have access to the skill sets that they need? Will they have access to equipment? Will they have access to so many other things? Is copyright on track? Do we have the right marketing structure set in place? So there's some of the elements of the ecosystem that entrepreneurs within the sector are working on. But there's some parts of it that government also needs to work on. And so we ask ourselves the question of, there was a time in my career, for instance, when co-productions were rampant. I mean, in my time, I did Deadly Voyage and all the films, and many of films. And, you know, if, for instance, we were even doing 4 of Deadly Voyage annually, which was about $5 million per that particular movie, you're talking about $20 million for Ghana, very low-hanging fruit. And then you see that other parts of the ecosystem will also grow. But here we are, for instance, Ghana Films was sold, is now TV3. It was sold. And so that ecosystem, one major ecosystem where people gather, network, make business, learn from each other, and all of that is gone. And then the related industries around it also went. And so just by that one government action of selling a key bedrock of the film industry, for instance, the film sector has suffered since then. Now is government going to stand by and not take the responsibility of helping? We are happy that, you know, the government is taking steps, but we need more of such steps in different areas, and then entrepreneurs also with their effort to collectively we can come up with an ecosystem that makes the business of the sector move forward.
Right. I was just speaking to Chief, as you said, and he was talking about how it's difficult to combine being a creative and also looking at the corporate side where we can really work out a good business model in this space and then try and sell that so that we can monetize it. Do you think that we are doing enough work as creatives, as entrepreneurs, in monetizing our art in Ghana?
Well, I mean, he's very right when he says that. I mean, from my own experience, for instance, as a producer and a director and a writer, which by in itself is quite a bit, I did my movie, and then I found out there were no distributors. How can I sell my film and make my money back if there are no distributors? In fact, if you take the entire continent, you have only 3 credible distributors on the entire continent, and none of them takes Ghana seriously. And so, as a filmmaker, of course, I make my film. I've spent spent an amount in that film. I need to make my money back. I have investors. Now, as a filmmaker, after making the film with no experience in distribution, I had to jump into the shoes of a distributor and spend years learning how to distribute, making the contacts and all of that. Whereas if distribution was something that was already laid out in the system, I wouldn't have to become a distributor. And so, for instance, that's one of the reasons why we started the Black Star International Film Festival, to try and help energize the ecosystem, to bring distributors to the table, to bring financiers to the table, to bring the creatives to the table, to create an ecosystem. And so no filmmaker, I mean, it's a tall order, for instance, to expect that moving, for instance, being a creative would then also manage the creative, the business side of it. It's just asking too much. And as a country,
but
I don't know how to...
I mean, Julia, is it? Because we are the ones in the field. We are the ones who stand to benefit. And Chief was talking about Walt Disney, and so I just did a quick Google check. Even when you open him, he's called an American entrepreneur. He's now described more as an entrepreneur than a cartoonist because of the way he was able to look at. That's one thing he could do and leverage it into so many other spaces. My question is it not our responsibility?
Knowledge is one thing. If your question or your point is to the point that filmmakers and creatives in general should be aware of the business of things, I agree with you totally. And again, to that point, I would say that then local entertainment practitioners are not making the effort to be aware enough. Because obviously, if I'm even going to negotiate with a distributor, I should know what I'm negotiating. I should know what the terms are. I mean, there are many filmmakers in this country who have practically sold their future to distributors. And they would make no money from their content just because they didn't have the knowledge. However, if you are asking for that filmmaker or that musician whose core mandate or whose core attribute is to make songs or to make films, to then jump into the socks of someone who is distributing or a financier, I think that's a tall order. Besides, do not compare Ghana to developed countries like the United States and Walt Disney and all of that. First of all, look at the trajectory of those companies. Look at the trajectory of the sector. Look at the support system. Look at the access to information. Look at the access to finance. Look at the access to all of these things. And so I think that you do us a big disservice if you just put us in a block and compare us to America or the U.S. and all of that. Now, if I make my movie, I'm an independent filmmaker, and I make my movie in the States, first of all, there is the likelihood that I may get access to pockets of funding that will be supportive. Beyond that, there will be avenues and platforms. For instance, in the U.S. alone, count how many credible film festivals there are. So if I'm a filmmaker and my film gets into, I do good enough work, my film gets into Sundance or Tribeca or whatever you name it, New York Film Festival or whatever, I'm very likely to catch the eye of a distributor. That distributor then having the skill set needed would then market my films on the right platforms that will make me money. And then I can pay my investors back and go on to the next project. Now, here we are. You make a great film. For instance, I've made a film that is in 69 countries on Amazon, and yet it's still a difficult conversation having finance going to money and attracting money.
Right.
Because I'm competing with, as Mumin was saying, I'm probably competing with a fast-moving product like noodles. And so that investor, would the investor invest in my film that return on investment might take a long path or a path that he doesn't understand? Or will he just go and put his money in noodles? If you were the one, what would you say to me? I've had a bank say to me before that, our industry is non-tangible. So if you're talking to a money person who is looking for certain things to be in place or setting indices before they make a decision, obviously that person would rather make a decision
right, Juliet,
that they can track. Yeah.
Juliet, it's a very interesting conversation, but we would have to put a pin in it now. I would ask that you stay with us. In about 5 minutes, we'll come back and then we'll finish up. We're going for the Joy Business Minute now. You're still listening to the Super Morning Show in Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take these important messages. We'll be back.
Good morning, it's the Joy Business Minute.
Hello, I'm Daryl, she's Karen, and we've got the top stories for this morning.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has settled on a new minimum capital requirement for the various market players within the industry. This is coming after an extensive engagement with stakeholders in the sector.
Banking expert Philippe Payat is urging the government to set up a fund accessible to banks in financing capital-intensive projects. This, he believes, will be a better option to bailing out stressed banks which cost the taxpayer.
President Akufo-Addo is expected to launch the country's maiden oil and gas licensing round on Monday, October 15 in Accra. The purpose of the licensing round is to enable government transparently invite, negotiate and enter into petroleum agreements.
And in Zimbabwe, the transaction tax imposed last week has caused an outcry in the country. The Ministry of Finance has indicated that this 2% tax will be used for roads, health and education sectors.
That will be all for now.
The next update is at 3:06.
Thousands of students can't further their studies because of their financial background. At Absa Group, we invested over $24 million and supported over 3,600 students with scholarships, provided over 1,200 students workplace experience, and prepared over 215,000 students for work via our ready-to-work online platform. Because when we educate our youth, we unleash the possibilities of a nation. Absa Group, proudly serving Ghana as Barclays. For more, visit absa.africa. This message is brought to you by Absa Group Limited. Her name is Faye. The first time we met, I knew she was way ahead of her time. She gets me, you know. She watches my back and even covers my blind spots with her blind spot collision warning system. We're safe. No strings attached with her wireless device charging, and that is very convenient. My eyes are always on the road when we ride because Faye has heads-up display. And boy, does she run smooth. I feel like she was made specially for me. Get a taste of the future. The all-new 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. Now available at Auto Plaza Limited, the home of Hyundai. Call us now on 0240-065-030 or visit our showroom at Auto Plaza, Nahia House on the Kanishi Odoko Road, next to Fisherman's House building at the Dansoman Hansonic traffic light. Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities.
Ghana has always suffered from internet disruptions. You've experienced it, and here's the unfortunate truth. Unreliable internet could cost Ghanaians and their businesses up to $6.3 million every day. Fortunately, here is another truth. Yaklik, Africa's #1 internet service, connects via satellite, giving your business reliable internet connectivity every day. And it's now available in Ghana. Yaklik, let's unlock your potential. Visit yaklik.com to know more. Information source, Sipiza.
Good day, my one and only human resource manager.
Good day, Abner.
It just occurred to me, now that our colleague is no more, what's going to happen to his wife and children?
Oh, that one. The company has a unique Glyco Group comprehensive insurance cover for staff. And the good news is that Glyco Life has already paid a claim for our late colleague, so his family will be well taken care of financially.
Wow, this is so relieving to hear.
Yes, the Glyco Group comprehensive plan provides a 24-hour adequate group life cover for employees or members of associations. Should any employee be injured in an accident, suffer disability, terminal diseases like heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, or even death, Glyco Group comprehensive plan will pay substantial benefits to them or their beneficiaries. Moreover, the plan also takes care of our company's legal liability under the Workmen's Compensation Act. Abner, close your mouth.
Amazing. Keep up the good work.
So, my fellow corporate human resource managers and executives, call Glyco Life on 020-222-113 or 050-125-6336. Email to customer services at glycogroup.com or grouplife@glycolife.com to have your employees covered under the Glyco Group Comprehensive Plan.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Airtel Tigo is undergoing a nationwide network upgrade so that we can provide you with wider coverage, faster internet, and super clear calls. This network upgrade is going to be a smooth one. However, in situations where you have a network challenge, such as no service or emergency, kindly visit any Airtel Tigo shop or SIM upgrade center nationwide to upgrade your SIM for free. You can also call Airtel Tigo on 100 or 0277 551 000 or 0260 000 100. For more information, as we fully round up on our network upgrade. This upgrade will not affect your Airtel Tigo Money account, airtime, or phone contacts. It's what we've all been waiting for, as we give you a bigger, better, stronger network that gives you the most. Airtel Tigo.
It's
mama kai mi do fu bio weseja mi do fu menye jina wo awoyi wa mama kai mi do fu bio weseja mi do fu menye jina wo ori fre mi do fu mami yo okanjane de ma pino na baby mi kwa yidie osana mi sa
Joy 99.7 FM.
Minutes past 9 on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. The song in the background is Awoyi by Besa Simons. And the man behind the music, Besa himself, will be joining us on the show to bring us some perspectives from the music industry. The big question today: does our creative industry pay? You've heard from Juliet Asante. She's the board member of NAFTI. She's the brain behind the Black Star Film Festival. She's given us her thoughts. Chief Moment is in the studio with us. He's a playwright and a poet. He's been talking to us about what it means to be a playwright and poet in Ghana, money-wise. And Besa will be joining us shortly. But your comments are welcome on 0244 340 437. At Joy997 FM is the Twitter handle. Joy99.7 FM is the Facebook page. Leave your comments at the hashtag JoySMS. Are you sometimes uncertain about your future and how it will turn out? At Energy Commercial Bank, we perceive what the future holds as we work effortlessly to build our own, and you too can own a part of it. Energy Commercial is now public. Take this lifetime opportunity and buy shares. With 1 CD 30 pesos per share and a minimum of 100 shares, you can now own a part of the bank. This incredible offer lasts till November 2, 2018. Receiving banks are Energy Commercial Bank, EcoBank, UBA, UMB, and Zenith Bank. Call 0302 908 965 for more information. Talk to your broker and invest in Energy Commercial Bank stock today. Together, let's own Energy Commercial Bank, supporting your aspirations. Now guess what? Cowbell will be in the sky with a glowing hot air balloon in a community next to you. The amazing part is you could be the one flying in that balloon and it's absolutely free. Now that's Cowbell in the sky. If you want to know more about flying in this balloon, stay tuned in to Joy 99.7 FM, your super station. Special good morning to Abeku Sankofi. Special good morning to you. Kingdom Books and Stationery now offers a 30-day credits facility with no interest charge. We deliver free within Accra, Tema and surrounding towns. Call us on 0302 764 101 or 762 307 or visit kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, your number one stop shop for all office essentials, stationery and furniture. Let me come to Chief quickly before I go to Besa Simons on the line. Okay, we have Besa on the line now, so let's speak with him. Chief, give me a moment. Good morning, Besa. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I am blessed. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Do you think it's lucrative being a musician today?
You mean today or before?
Let's start with today.
Okay. I think it is, but for so many reasons, One, I think people see only few musicians who are making it now. Only few musicians are popular, and people are drawn to music. More people these days are drawn to music because they see some people who are popular on videos, and they are all over the place. When it comes to maybe making money out of it, that's a different story. Only few musicians are making money. But I think to answer your question, music is always something nice to do. When you do music, whether you make money or not, people are happy to do music because it brings the other side of them, their talents out, and make people see what they don't see in them normally, come out.
But was it always like this? Was it always a case where if you choose to enter music, you're not going to make so much money?
No, nobody enters music thinking like that, because the moment you start making music, you know that you are going to make money. I mean, for example, in the olden days, all the musicians, I know the big guys, they all had money. Ampadu was a rich man. They were Kofi Sami. They all had fleet of cars and houses and things. So once you get into this business, you are going to be rich and popular. Until you get in there and you realize that your property is not well protected. People. Maybe it's only in Africa and Ghana that it's like that, but when you go to other countries, when you enter this profession, you know you are going to make money, because writing one song is just like building a house. And anybody who uses your house will pay rent. But here it's not. It's only when people get into it, they realize that, hey, I've built a house, but nobody is paying rent. People are just using it from left and right. And also these days, to be very fair, we are not selling CDs. We are not selling cassettes. We are not selling records. It's all through social media. So the more following you have, that's where the money is. And so many young people have realized that, and they are going through that channel. So I think it is still lucrative.
Okay.
But very difficult.
Okay. What makes it difficult beyond them? And we still have Juliet Asante on the line. Juliet Asante, board member of NAFTI and the brain behind the Black Star International Film Festival. Okay, so let me ask you this question quickly, Bessa, before I move to Juliet for her final words. You said that it is difficult to make the money, but the money is still there. Beyond CD sales, the current business model of the music industry, what makes it very difficult?
What makes it difficult is the channels that you have to go through. You see, there are other, bloggers, other agencies who will help you get your music to iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and all that, But that is one side of making money. The other side is through royalties. When your music is being used by either, Joy FM radio station, Peace FM, wherever they play your music, you have to make money there. And you and I know that it's very difficult for the radio stations to pay their royalties, to GAMRO, so that they also distribute to their members. But, most radio stations don't even have it on their program that when they play music, they have to pay. That is one side. And then the other side is we haven't got that border, people who take our music across borders, So all our music is apart from the social media, is local in our land, and that is making only few people cross our borders in a very minimal way.
Okay. I'm very curious as to how we can make our music international, but let me come back and put that question really to Juliet Asante. Is this simply a question of quality? I asked Chief earlier. Genevieve Nnaji recently made Lionheart. It was picked up by Netflix. Netflix is now $1 million movie. What does it take to break the mold and get to those levels, Juliet?
Okay, so before I answer your question, let me just say two things. One, that Ghana is at a point where we can benefit greatly from the entertainment sector just by tapping into the creative economy. If you look at internationally the creative economy and you project as to how Ghana can feed into that, and the example you gave falls squarely into that. It's a pity that we are not putting in place the right structures to be able to just tap into that, because I see this as a very low-hanging fruit. I mean, you speak about film, you speak about music, you speak about the arts. You can look at the numbers from countries individually and see how much it rakes in. And so if you take a typical project where you have a film like you've mentioned. If Genevieve shot a film, imagine the budget of that film. If she shot it in Nigeria, how much did it bring into Nigeria? I'm talking about hard catch, foreign direct investment, which is what Ghana needs. So how much, for instance, is that budget of that film is something we should look into. How many people did it did it employ? What kind of skill sets did it bring into the country? And most importantly, let's look at, for instance, creative, film tourism. And so if this film was shot by Netflix and is all around the world and everyone is talking about it, how many people are consciously seeing Nigeria in a good light and potentially will buy a ticket and go to visit Nigeria? And that, for instance, then becomes film tourism right there. If people listen to Ghanaian music, are they attracted to the images? Are they curious about Ghana to visit Ghana? So those are the two ways that Ghana can benefit, because the creative sector is what sells the country. If you look at America, what do you know about America if you haven't been to America? Besides what you see in the news, you're talking about what you see in music and what you see in film. And so countries use that to be able to communicate, inform, educate the world about them, to sell what you call diplomacy, cultural diplomacy too. It's through the creative. And so Ghana, we are missing out on that. If you talk about the sub-region, Ghana, Nigeria and South Africa are way ahead. And we've been left behind. In the meantime, we were mostly behind the Nigerian sector taking off. And so it is actually in our interest as a country to look at this as a business. And then as a government, we ask ourselves, okay, what can we do? What are the blocks that we can put in place that can move the creative sector from one point to another?
Right.
As the gentleman was saying, if he makes his music, and he is a creative, and he has to come and worry about how to distribute it outside of the borders of Ghana. He has to worry about how he collects his money. He has to worry about all of that. How much money is he starting the process with in the first place? Does he have access to any grants or anything? No. And so there are things that as a country, we haven't even gone into the area of what, how this is influencing our young people and what they see. And we haven't even gone into that. Probably this conversation was prodded on because of something from the creative sector. Have we asked ourselves how powerful this sector is to move the conversation, to impact the young people, to impact our environment? All of these questions we need to have as a country.
Juliet, thank you so much for joining us. There are so many angles to this that we have to continue with, but of course, there's very limited time. Perhaps that's one of the resources that we need to push the media industry forward.
And we need to have real conversations about how this can impact us in real ways. And I think that's where we need to take the conversation. Let's look at real ways that, for instance, as an example I gave you, if we were to do this within 1 year, take the creative sector, film, music, arts, and whatever, what can it bring into Ghana? When we begin to talk those numbers, I think the government, all stakeholders will begin to see the importance of investing in a new way into the sector.
Right. Thank you so much, Juliet Asante. We understand that you have to leave us now. She's a board member of the National Film and Television Institute, NAFTI, and she is also the brain behind the Black Star International Film Festival. She's filmmaker par excellence. She's been around for so long. Besta Simons is also with us on the lines, but let me quickly come and pick a word on this from Chief Moment. Where the conversation has gotten to now, is it still a matter of not monetizing well, or we are still looking at a matter of the background, the should I say the substructure on which we lay the industry?
Well, I guess it's the two things. First of all, you need artists themselves who are willing to engage, who are willing to open up themselves to collaborations, to partnerships, to, what kind of partnerships, equity, financing, or whatever that can help build their business. But also importantly, we need the ecosystem that can support the arts. And for me, I'm not even talking about charity. I'm not talking about people say, hey, let me dash money to some people. I'm talking about people seeing the creative arts as a viable business area that they can invest in. So that if I'm a rich person and I have $10 million million to invest, will I be thinking of the same old areas? Okay, I want to do some oil and gas. I want to open some, manufacturing factory, a place that will be producing pure water. Can I think of investing it, for example, in my friend Tony, who produces Horseman shoes, to say, look, I want to expand Horseman shoes across West Africa. I want to see a shop in every country, in every region. I want to invest in your business so that we can expand production, distribution, advertisement for people to buy. So for me, I want people to begin to think of the creative art industry as a viable industry to invest in. Once, the important thing you need is the oxygen. Because right now we are struggling for breath. And once you are struggling for breath, there's really little that you can do. We would stumble on, and a few of us might succeed. So the most important thing is the guarantee of oxygen. That's the resources. When Mark Zuckerberg thought about Facebook, right, when it was tested and people saw that it was viable, the problem he faced was not a problem of funding. In fact, his problem was which funding to take, because people were like, I want to invest in this idea. Microsoft gave him about $1 million early on. But if Mark Zuckerberg were Ghanaian, he would have had the most brilliant idea in the world. He would have still been struggling, and he would have probably died out of frustration. So individuals are important, but the environment is important. The environment that you plant the seed, is it conducive enough to germinate the enterprises that we want to see? And for me, I want us to begin having conversations where people will begin to see the creative art as a viable place to invest in.
I'm going to Bessa quickly on the phone lines. And Bessa, is there anything you see in the industry today that gives you hope that this is going to work?
Well, I see a lot of young people who are striving, to make it. And that gives me hope, because if these young people give up, we are doomed, because there will be no history. But I think what we need now, we need to create a business-friendly environment, as the creative arts industry itself. Then we also, because of so many backlogs, we have to get support from the government to brand our creative art from this country, so that other people will see what we have. At the moment, people will have to come to Ghana before they see what we have. But we have to be out there, and to do this, we need support from the government. They have to put in funds that will bring back funds to the country. That is very, very much.
Okay.
Because I remember when I used to travel a lot with Osibisa around the whole world. We as musicians, we invested in our costumes. Every country that we go, we buy the best garments. And I remember when we were in Australia, all my clothes were taken because they loved it. And they would ask you, where from this clothes that you are wearing? And I said, it's from Ghana. And before you realize, these people have visited Ghana, and they bring in funds. So I think we need government support. Government will have to put in money to bring in money.
Okay. Thank you very much, Bessa Simons, for joining us on the line. He's a celebrated musician, highlight musician in Ghana today. I'm going to go quickly on the other phone line and pick a quick word from Uncle Abel White, who is a playwright in that industry that Chief Moment is talking about. And of course, a quick correction that must be made. In October 24, 2007, Facebook announced that Microsoft would invest $240 million in Facebook. Now, you can imagine what that is worth now. But it's 26 minutes past 9. Uncle White, good morning again.
Good morning, Dan.
I hope everything is fine.
Yeah, everything is fine. And what about you?
By God's grace, we've missed you since yesterday, but we are boxing on. So, Uncle in the first, I'm glad I'm having this conversation with you, because it's one I've wanted to have for a while, albeit we have very little time. How did you do it from 10 years ago when you decided to do a play every quarter? How have you sustained this business?
By stealing from all my family members and starving my family. It's taken I'm serious. It's taken a lot of sacrifice on behalf of my own family, because the going was tough from the beginning, and so everything had to go back in. Everything had to go back in to just make sure we can keep it going. Whilst those we can starve, we starved, and so it can work. So that is what I've done.
So your angel investors were your family members?
Come again?
Your investors at the very beginning were your family members?
Yeah, they were particularly my wife and then my adopted brother, Mr. Charles Rekon.
Well, God bless them. But how did we keep it going? From when it first started, have they been able to make their money back? How have you been able to build a sustainable business out of this in 10 years?
Keeping life simple, everybody's life simple, keeping as low profile as possible, doing only what we can afford to do. The things we can't afford to do, you wait. Cutting your coat according to your size, as it were. Being particular with your priorities and knowing where the money should go. So it's been a very strict fiscal management. And that has kept us going because, people they come to the theater and they see that, the place is full. They don't realize the mathematics of what is happening. That among the people who are there, maybe as many as 300 free tickets to get the people in there because these are gatekeepers you want to court and all that. And then people calculate. They calculate, okay, National Theatre, if I'm saying, okay, even if let's say it takes 1,000, the guy is charging 80. My goodness, he's made money. And yet, because of the lack of infrastructure, the kind of infrastructure we need, like lights and things like that at the theater, the cost of production there can be so high that at the end of it, whatever you make is going into all the costs that you've put in to make it possible. But you continue doing it because you live in hope. You continue doing it because this is what you've been given to do. That is what I've been given to do. And so I continue looking at, okay, in what ways can we make it work? And that is how we keep going.
Finally, Uncle, how were you able to convince Corporate Ghana to come on board? And how has been their support over the years?
It is not even about me. The point with Corporate Ghana is that we are losing it in Ghana. Because, you see, a lot of the companies that can afford it are not being run from Ghana. Dan, do you understand me?
Yes.
The company is operating here, but the decision-making is not taken in Ghana. So when you present, it's not like multimedia where I can sit down with management and the decision is here. In a lot of the companies that operate, the big boys in our system, you submit a proposal to the marketing manager or the head of corporate affairs, and he also has a boss in South Africa or East Africa or Dubai that he has to forward that to and now go and make a case there. Now, mind you, the guy there does not know you, does not even know what you are doing in Ghana. So he looks at his budget and said, no, throw it away. And that is what we so there isn't any event organizer in Ghana who is not suffering because of that, this reality. So you find that the kind of programs they are willing to invest money in keep dwindling. And even that every year they are cutting back on what they are willing to give you. So it's very tough going in that field.
But
the big boys in our market are not run by Ghanaians in Ghana, unfortunately.
So is it that you've not been able to get any big boys at all, or with some tricks and someone who say juju and tricks, you've been able to get a few?
No, you get them initially. Then the budget keeps being cut. Do you understand me? So they come on 1 year. The next time you go, if they gave you 10,000, this time they say we can give you 5,000. Take it or leave it. Because the guy who is taking the decision, he's not even here to see and to recognize that the 10,000 we gave us this, brought us this goodwill, gave us this market awareness and things like that. He doesn't care. So he said, look, cut it down by 50, or cut him off altogether. And they know maybe you built a kind of relationship with them, they can't do that. So what they then do is to tell you that we'll give you a third of what we gave you last year. They know you reject it. They are praying you reject it. And then that's it. So that's what is happening. So you look at every event. You'll find that if it's an ongoing event, the number of sponsors they had and the sponsorship they had 2 years ago will not be the same they are getting now. It's getting less, not more. And we are all suffering that.
Well,
so Dan,
yeah,
the dog sweats. So But because of the
fare, you don't.
The fare, people don't see it, and then they sit back and say, "Oh, they are making it." But everyone in the creative industry, if he's to be honest with you, would tell you that budgets are being cut on us, doors are being slammed on our faces all the time, and nobody is exempted.
Thank you very much, Uncle White, for these very, very insightful perspectives. And I'm coming back to Chief Moment, a very humbled man. I think I started this conversation thinking that maybe there's something that we are not doing enough. But you see, the way I see it, and Chief, you made a very, very important point of using the example of people like Mark Zuckerberg. Because we see equity coming from outside a lot. If you are someone who looks at the tech startup space, there are a lot of these small apps that we are seeing, and we are seeing Ghanaian guys on the face and they are winning international awards and we are excited. But because their funding is coming from outside Ghana, a lot of them are incorporated in the US. Yeah. A number of these companies that you see, they are incorporated in the US. And there isn't enough, like Uncle Ebo was saying, local equity. There isn't enough local capacity to push businesses, to push ideas. And so the story of our banking sector, which has 80% of the equity being controlled by foreign interests, can be translated in hotels, it can be translated in telcos, it can be translated in everything. I mean, take a look, Chief, at, and we are talking here, take a look, Chief, at every industry in Ghana and look at the controlling interest that is from Ghana. But anyway, that's another conversation we can have.
Cycle. So that's why we need champions and patrons in our society. And, you know, and this is a controversial topic. When people even steal corruption money and all of that, you know, for me, I don't see why someone in Ghana will go and buy a house in Dubai and invest in real estate when there are poor people who are looking for accommodation, or even middle-class people who are looking for accommodation. So it's bad enough to actually steal the money, but why don't you at least invest it back home? Or even if you made your money legitimately, why would you go and buy a property in Dubai or South Africa? For what? I mean, you can build some low-cost housing in this country. So there's also a lot of hemorrhaging of money leaving the economy, sitting in foreign bank accounts that is not yielding probably enough profit, or some of them will die and forget it, and you know, and the money will stay there. So let's learn to invest in our country and to start building the ownership of property and wealth.
I want you to have the final word on this one. I'm going to go on the lines quickly. We're going to bring in the audience, but first I'll do a comms break. I'll do some LPMs, I'll do a comms break, and then we'll come back.
My class is still on.
Your class is on. Oh, what's the prof's name again? I beg you if it was
Dr. Abena.
Dr. Abena.
Yes.
Dr. Abena, we beg you. We are keeping Chief for just a few more minutes. Yes, Chief is representing the entire industry this morning.
Communication studies.
You are representing the entire industry this morning. It's very, very essential. But you can call us on 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. You can also call us on 0244-340437. 0244-340437. We'll be back after these important messages, then we wrap up. Stay with us.
Your office they shine. Oh.
Yes, so I tell you, say for proper and modern ceiling solutions, the answer be Interface Limited. Them get in stock acoustic ceilings where you go fit make your office fine like my own.
Or even better pass your own self.
We can't better pass my own.
Shall I go Interface right now?
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at www.interfacelimited.com.
At Living Lives, we take care of your health in 12 categories of your health needs: joint and muscle, digestive health, circulatory health, stress, sleep aids, sensory improvement, hair and skin, weight management, allergy and respiratory, men and women health. Living Lives Organic Healthcare deals in over 60 different organic products. Our Easy Flow Men's Tea improves your urine flow. Living Lives is also the sole agent for Bell Lifestyle Organic Product from Canada. Call us on 0248-881-101 or 0200-891-949. Living Lives, total wellness. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Food and Drugs Authority.
I am Dr. Acacia. Acacia gives your workers the best customer service and treatment options when the need arises, keeping them healthier and more productive for your business. Acacia Health Insurance. We place value on those you value.
How are
you doing, my brother?
I'm having problems as an architect getting quality security products on the market.
Asa Abloy is your one-stop shop for your needs. They have strong padlocks with double locking systems. They also have security doors, hydraulic door closers, hinges, and mechanical locks, pull handles for glass, wooden, and aluminium doors. Also in stock are the Yale Smart Home Alarm System. They have access control for offices, residents and schools, hotel electronic locks, and safes. You can find Asa Abloy in Accra, adjacent MTN office on the 11th lane, Osu, Takrade, Kumasi, Tamale. You can reach Asa Abloy on 0302-778-029 or 050-133-9085 for further details.
Hello, madam. Mommy has malaria. She said I should come and buy Hexapin and Agazone and Talimodino Nabutolosis.
Hey, Beo, this malaria and you are stressing like this? Get Novamita. Novamita kills malaria parasites and comes in a special pack that fits into your pocket, wallet, or purse, so you never forget your daily dose. And if she has resultant anemia, give her 3FA. 3FA is a blood tonic.
Always get tested for malaria before taking medications. If you are pregnant or a lactating mother, seek medical advice first. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Novamita and 3FA is manufactured and distributed by Pharmanova Limited. Locate them at Osu at number 3 Okodan Street or call 054-3171-894.
Novamita, sort with malaria one touch. Any 3FA, anemia, away. Novamita.
Show it to kill malaria.
With Melcom, you need to be ever ready all day, anytime. At Melcom, we love to see you shop for quality, save more, and shop again. Oh yeah, it's the Melcom Fire and Ice promotion. And you, Melcom the Fufrabe to be a friend of Fire and Ice promotion. Enjoy deals up to 20% on our entire range of refrigerators, chest freezers, and gas cookers in all Melcom shops nationwide. Melcom Fire and Ice promotion has over 400 items on display, and it's all just for you to purchase and save more. Hurry, don't be left out. Take this opportunity to get more discount. Visit any of our Melcom branches nationwide and enjoy the best. Melcom, where Ghana shops.
Light it up! This Friday, we will light it up! We'll set it ablaze! It will be fire! This Friday, we will light it up! We'll set it ablaze! It will be fire! As part of the Prosec at 80 commemorative week celebrations, Prosec Old Boys Association and Joy 99.7 FM presents the 2018 Touch and Bonfire Night celebrations. The weekend warmer edition with DJ Black and friends at Prosec Legon from 6 p.m. sharp. MCs are Dadia's Lexix Bill, George Yadu, Gary Al Smith, all of Joy FM. It's a night of fire, weekend cool, a night of food, drinks, and fireworks. It's DJ Black live at Prosec Legon this Friday, streaming live on radio and online.
Get ready. Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
19 minutes to the top of the hour here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Like we said earlier, we will be giving you the chance to call in on 0302-216-541 and 0244-340-437. But let me give Chief a few moments to answer this question for me. How can we monetize what we do as creatives?
Well, I mean, I can only talk about how I can monetize what I do, right? And I'm in the market looking for $2 million, and this is just a basic business proposition. I said I want to create the world's biggest theater production about the world's richest man to have ever lived, called Mansa Musa. It's a caravan production which we want to tour across West Africa. And that's our basic business proposition. If you get a good enough product and you invest in advertisement enough, can I get 1 million people to come out and see this production across 2 years around West Africa? I think it's possible. Can we get 200,000 Ghanaians who can buy a ticket at an average of 10 I think it's very possible. Can we get those 200,000 Ghanaians to come and see this production across the country over a period of time? I think it's very possible. So with $2 million, I can potentially turn it into a $10 million industry. And that's what all of these big theater houses have done. That's what Lion King has done for decades and has made hundreds of millions of dollars. But you just have to be willing to take the bold step. You have to create a good enough product, and then you have to invest in advertising to get the people out. So for me, that's what I'm in the market looking for. People who can dream like me and be as crazy as me, as Disney did. And I feel that this production can not only just store West Africa, but Africa and indeed the world, because we're entering into a decade where there is an appetite for empowering African content. People are tired of the stories of poverty, disease, and slave trade. That is the dominant narrative of Africa in the media. That is why Black Panther did so. That's why Black Panther did so well, because it broke the chain of the narrative and presented something unprecedented.
What do you make of what Uncle said? That when we are starting out, you need to cut your coat according to your cloth. Start with a smaller production, and then you make some more money.
That's the most. I mean, that's the most sensible thing. Even though I didn't follow that particular trajectory. My first production.
You said it's sensible, and you said you didn't follow that.
I didn't.
What are you saying about yourself?
No, because yes, of course, I know I'm crazy. My first production was 250,000 at a time where I was getting 800 cedis in salary, right? So yes, that's a sensible thing to do, because you have to be. Otherwise, you die. If I didn't have some level of capacity and endurance, the kind of pressure I've gone through within these last 4 years, even compounding with my issues with the Ghana Secretariat last year, that is still debt hanging over my head, I would have probably died out of stress.
Okay.
But the only reason why I keep on going is because I feel that this thing is going to be so successful, and I think I'm going to be one of Ghana's major success stories in terms of arts and creativity and theater. So even though I'm making these debts, I'm comparing it against the millions of dollars I stand to make once this production begins to make money. So that's the most sensible thing to do. Cut your code according to your size, build it incrementally, build your audience. That's the most important thing. Build your audience and grow with them.
Thank you so much, Chief Moment. Always a pleasure hearing from you.
To my class, and thank you very much, Joy FM, for having us and for making this a conversation, and actually for supporting Uncle Abel White and his production, because without multimedia support, I mean, his productions wouldn't have been as big as we hear about them. So the media has an integral part to play in helping us project the arts. And to all the young people out there who are struggling to get their ideas out there, just keep on believing. Keep at it.
You may be a Chief
You
Moment.
have to have a fanatical.
I mean, the Chief Moment will believe in the next
towards
few
your
years.
vision. Thank you.
All right, Chief. Thanks so much. Let me go on the phone lines quickly and speak with Kojo from Amasaman. Good morning, Kojo.
Hello, good morning.
How be?